and it pulled up actually the test reports for that batch. PAX is a hardware company that's been around in the cannabis space, and we've been around for over 10 years, so we're not new at this. We ship millions and millions of these devices around the world. For the last 3 years or so, we've been selling this device, which is our Era. It uses pods that are pre-filled by our brand partners with cannabis oil. And today here we're launching Era Pro. Era Pro brings it to a whole new level. It's a much more refined device. We've added USB-C charging, and we've made the control lights a lot bigger and things like that. But the real big change here is that we've revised our pods so that they all have an NFC tag baked into the bottom of them. Our brand partners now, essentially, when they fill these with their cannabis oil, they flash the pod with essentially what's in the pod, with the lab report, with the ideal temperature, with a whole bunch of other information. And so when you stick the pod into the device, now it, for example, sets exactly within a degree of the exact right temperature that it should be consumed at. So you really get the most out of the oil. And if you use the mobile app, I can show you some other cool stuff here as an example. So I put that pod in, and it immediately pulled up that this is a pod by our brand partner Halo, and it pulled up actually the test reports for that batch. So this is literally the lab report for the oil that's in that pod, all the terpenes, all the cannabinoids, and not just THC and CBD, but actually all of the other cannabinoids that exist in there. So users can start getting a sense of why is it that they feel a certain way. They can start looking for certain things. It's hard to do with one hand, but you'll notice, come back out here. I'll pull out this pod and just show you, try to do this one-handed. Yikes. Put this in and you'll see, there you go. Different pod. This is a pod by a company called Dabstract. There you go. And you can view their testing information. So we have, I think, 500 lab reports or so in our system right now. We're adding more every day. And yeah, it's a whole new system. Allows a lot of cool stuff I didn't even tell you about, but that's the new Era Pro.
That is crazy. I didn't know there was an app.
There is an app, and even without the app, though, you get that preset temperature. You can actually override it if you like a different temperature. You can kind of use this as a button and like change what temperature you want. And then the pod remembers it, so I left that on 3 pedals. If I take this back out and do whatever I want and put it back in again, it'll actually go back to that same 3 pedals because the pod remembers the temperature you like to experience it at. It's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
We're all about like transparency and control. We want people to understand what they're consuming and have a lot of control.
That's great.
You can even lock it out, so you hit the lock button, and it locks it out. So now if like somebody picks this up and tries to vape, it just flashes red and doesn't do anything. You'd have to come back in the app and unlock it. So if a kid picks it up off your nightstand or whatever, you're all good. Yeah. Era Pro just launched today.